Juice Bar, we made it.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs.
Let's go.
As we record this, we're in the midst of the play-in. But if you're a Knicks fan, you don't have to worry about the play-in because you did the hard work all year long. Knicks-Pistons 3 versus the 6. Upstart Pistons. Knicks played these boys 4 times. 1 and 3 straight up.
Situational, though. Situational.
Had a little trouble with these boys, especially Cade Cunningham. Let's recap the regular season, though. Back-to-back 50-win seasons. They were the 2 last year.
Say it
They're
again.
the 3 this year when it comes to the Eastern Conference. Pistons, best they've played. But before we get into that, talk to me about, we've in multiple Juice Bar pods now, I've talked about the difference between expectations and the feeling in the Garden with having them and acquiring Mikal Bridges and acquiring Karl Anthony Towns, and where that thought a lot of people believed where the Knicks would be off of those additions. And they kind of right where we thought they'd be, 2 or 3 in the East. They're right there.
Well, the team total win on the season was what? It was like 53
It
and a
was
half
like 53 and a half.
Vegas
54.
was on the money.
I mean, on the nose with the win total for the Knicks. How are you feeling about the season? How are you feeling about going into the playoffs?
I'm feeling phenomenal, but again, I got San Diego optimism in the Northeast. So I feel great. I think this team, again, and you kind of dropped in the half pipe with it, on the notion that this team had expectations rather than exceeding them last year to some degree. It was a little bit of a quieter, I think, national TV 50-plus win year for a number one media market like the Knicks, but I kind of felt like national basketball shows, etc., really love jumping on these boys. The 0-7, now 0-8 slander. So it was almost debunked in the boroughs where we live how exceptional this season was. I think it's a huge win, Sean. I mean, to think about this game being confidence and rhythm and continuity, and you turn over several assets, multiple starters, and you really don't skip a beat. Sure, it's a different style team than last year, but I got to feel like they met expectations. Every kind of chirp they got, they answered. And team dealt with some injuries. I mean, Mitch Robb out the first half, JB going down the stretch. A couple guys came into their own. So, yeah, I could keep going on and on. But, yeah, I feel very good about the season. I feel a lot of momentum, ironically, with a lot of people kind of sleeping, I feel, on this Knicks defense because they haven't had their full defense a lot of these games.
You said it perfectly. The expectations coming in this year where they should win 53, 54 games, be top 3 in the East. They've accomplished that with a new squad. Through a lot of hate throughout the year, no bench, they don't have enough. They won 54 games in a very top-heavy Eastern Conference. The fun part now is it kind of flips. The expectations were 53, 54 wins. They got that done. Now the expectations are these guys have no shot in the playoffs.
I love it.
They're flat out not going to – they cannot beat the Celtics or the Cavs. So enjoy this series. A lot of chirping about the Pistons. I respect the Pistons a ton. I'm not picking them to win the series. A lot of people think that the Pistons are going to give the Knicks a lot of trouble. I'm not one of those guys. I think it's going to be a hard-fought series.
Sure.
But I think the Knicks are going to be able to take care of business in 5 games. The fun part is now you get by the Pistons. We're back to house money Knicks.
8 games.
Let's just go leave it all on the floor and try to do what we do because most likely going to play the Celtics. You are not going to find anyone in any media picking the Knicks over the Celtics.
Not a soul.
Not one. So it's back to Underdog Knicks.
I love it.
Have fun. Let loose. If we got to go to Brunson to score 40 every night, fine. Do whatever's necessary. But it was spectacular last year with that underdog feeling. The underdog feeling will be back.
That's what I was going to ask you.
As soon as the second round.
Last year, very well said, that team thrived on being doubted and slept on.
No doubt.
That
was the identity of the team. No
but
question.
Now that you said a very interesting observation that it's flipped likely because no one sees them getting past anything more than the Pistons. Do you think this team persona-wise can rise to the occasion and almost wrap their arms around last year's kind of narrative and be able to use it and channel it for dubs. Playoff dubs.
Yeah, I think that's going to be what they have to tap into.
What would be like something in real time we would maybe see in the Pistons series in this first round from a guy, a play, a player, a moment? You think anything? Is it one moment? Is it a game? Something that can maybe give this team some more chutzpah coming off pace off.
I think if Bridges or OG, we've seen it more from OG than Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
If Bridges has a few sequences, or I saw out in the market that Bridges in the first round or in the playoffs to average 17.9 points. I think that number's too high, by the way. I think if you're looking for some action, that's kind of off the market in props. I think he's going to be doing so many other things, and his priority is going to be doing so many other things and cutting and passing and creating lanes and spacing.
Sure.
Him scoring 18 points a game, I don't think is in the cards for him for what they'll need in the playoffs, especially with how well a lot of guys are coming off the bench just purely offensively and with Deuce. I like the under in that spot. But in this first-round series, if he could show flashes of like one-on-one slowing up Cade or one-on-one being able to really bother guys, I think the confidence of the team and the fan base would go through the roof.
I like that you said Bridges because, I mean, he's a little
he's a little
introverted.
bit of a question mark. Let's be honest, right?
He's a quiet lad too.
Quiet guy, can shoot it. I don't want to disparage Bridges at all because I think he's had a really good year in a really tough situation on a new team in a new role, where he needs to touch the ball for Jalen and Kat to play at their highest capacity. And then now you throw in OG in the fold offensive that's been going well. He's in this role where he's doing a lot of sacrificing. And I think overall the theme is he's not bringing enough. But I think in his mind, he's like, I'm the ultimate team guy, and I get no love no matter what I'm doing, right?
Is that for a ball knower like yourself, is that a lazy non-ball knower take that he's not having a year like last year, unbeknownst to the X's and O's of it all? He is doing a lot for the sacrifice of this team because there's offense galore.
Yeah, maybe, but when you're enthralled into a situation that he was with the first-round picks and the dollar amount that he's making, it's a lot easier to swallow that conversation with Josh Hart when he's not making that much money. He was an addition, and that's his game. And We've never seen him be the guy that could make an impact like we've seen Mikal Bridges on other squads, right?
Also NBA Finals guy.
Sure. So that's the interesting thing. So to the long-winded way of answering your question is, if there's flashes of like Mikal on ball locking people up, and doing what some people think he hasn't been doing all year long, I think that could really give the fan base and the team some confidence going into playing a Celtics team against a Jalen Brown guy that is now widely reported, we're just going to inject this guy's knee all playoff long until we get to the offseason, and then we can actually deal with it. First of all, I can't believe that's like out in the market and that's being talked about.
It's a serious deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
NBA Finals MVP with a sus knee.
If you watched him the last couple games he played, he did not look very
Smoked
good.
Everyone's parlays under 10 points, yada, yada.
So.
Yeah. That's not nothing.
That's not nothing.
Also, Zingis on and off the court. Holiday's getting older.
If
Derek White just scored 20.
There's a situation the second round where Jalen misses a game here or a game there, or he's not 100%, it could get spooky. So that's where it'll get fun. Like, put it like this. Knicks have a hard-fought series against the Pistons, get it done. And then they go steal game one in Boston or something. Now we're talking about the Garden is on a different level. It's a different intensity, and that underdog freeing feeling the Knicks could start to tilt
I don't want to get too
in their
excited.
direction because Boston Celtics will be under tip-top pressure. But I am getting excited because I'm not worried about them losing to the Pistons. That's what you were getting at.
Well, I just think that, to your point, it's almost like how the Pistons are coming into this Knicks series at I believe Pete said 14-1. They were to just make the playoffs to start the season. They got a house money mindset. But if they get smacked 4-1, 4-0, something of that nature, the tournament's number one house money sleeper team, I think on both sides of the tournament, is your New York Knicks. There's a ton of value on them right now to get past because Boston's second round. If Brown is healthy, it's a different cat. We're talking about Tatum. This is a fascinating storyline too. The snub in the summer, didn't get the MVP. Is he 1A? Is he 1B? Whatever. And now we're asking Tatum to go berserk because Robin might be hurt. And this Knicks team, I mean, Sean, they're top 10 in every offensive category you want. And the only thing we haven't seen that we haven't even gotten reps of is this full team D. I got one for you. We know Mitch Rob's going to make a defensive play. If Karl Anthony Towns does something on defense no one sees coming, could that maybe be the guy to electrify the Garden in a moment where, like, oh, wow, Cat with some DOG?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Because those are the moments where I'm like, all right, let's get our offensive juggernauts doing something with some dog. But I'm very excited about this.
Like a little JB dive on the floor off a loose ball?
Something
like that.
And like just and now
that'd be fun.
And if this is old school, we got PJ Tucker on our side now. If this turns into a little anchorman meeting of the channels and it gets into a battle, you got the ultimate enforcer. I mean, that little moment where Schroeder tried to step over Brunson,
nonsense,
like he was hard, and wanted to throw hands, international FIBA style, and then 2 seconds later, PJ, grown man.
Yeah,
let's throw some grown man strength around and debunked. That's a big moment right there for this team.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the type of thing you need on a squad of guys that don't act like that. Honestly.
Let me tee you up for Jalen Brunson. You've been watching him all the way from the days back to Chicago. We got to remind ourselves 11-plus 30-point games and 6-plus 40-point games in 24 playoff outings. Tell me how much Natty TV media is sleeping on what Brunson can do in the playoffs.
I don't think they're sleeping on what Brunson can do in the playoffs.
But are we forgetting? 40?
This is the classic, if he needs to score 40, there's an issue. If he consistently has to score 40,
sure,
then it's a problem. I think that's kind of the common theme that I believe in that. I think everybody knows this dude single-handedly can get it, the can man, however you want.
Well, then let me ask you this. How can he take the next step in his playoff game now that he doesn't have to go out and get 34?
Makes life extremely easy for guys like OG and Mikal Bridges. There's two guys on the team that could go get a basket anytime. Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson.
Facts.
OG has morphed down the stretch into not a guy cutting and dunking, which he's doing. He's calling for the ball and
moving people out of the way.
ISOing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So if Brunson can make Bridges' life extremely easy and OG's life even easier where he's finding him easy buckets, that's where they're going to be offensively really, really an issue. And then, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in the playoffs that are going to get left alone on the perimeter. Derrick Jones Jr. for the Clippers they're just going to be like, shoot it, brother.
I think they're going to make Josh shoot too.
Chris Dunn for the Clippers. Shoot it, brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Josh Hart is that guy for the Knicks. If he can knock down open shots, could get really spooky offensively because then the spacing is real. Then Brunson can go to work. Then Cat gets favorable matchups on the block or on the perimeter. So,
Sean, am I seeing you join the exciting side here?
No, I mean,
Knicks to the shit.
I will be excited when they play the Celtics in the second round. That's what I believe is going to happen because that underdog feeling is going to be back, and they're going to be playing 45 minutes a game, and it's going to be mano-y-mano. And can they get a break where Jalen Brown is a little bit banged up.
Right.
And then they're wearing on them offensively a little bit where maybe Peyton Pritchard is missing. Maybe Hauser's missing. And then it gets a little spooky.
Not to get too exciting. We're getting out of here. If they can get past Boston, can they take anybody down?
If they can beat the second best team in the NBA, yeah, of course. You know what
That's
I mean?
all I needed to hear.
So yeah, I mean, if they could get past the Celtics, anything can happen, of course.
So I'm on Knicks in 5. I think Detroit
Knicks
maybe gets
5,
one.
I think it's
Motown.
nice. We always forget how heavy your first playoff run is. They've never played playoff basketball. Malik Beasley can knock down all the threes he wants in the regular season. He led the league, by the way, in three-pointers made. Fourth quarter in the playoffs at the Garden is a completely different animal. It's just different.
100%.
So they haven't experienced that together as a unit. Tobias Harris played great this year. Great addition for them. I don't trust him in the playoffs to do anything, if I'm being completely honest.
Is Beasley the X factor for them?
Cade, first playoff run.
Yeah.
So they could try to do all that physical nonsense and fight and do all that. At the end of the day, they don't have enough in a playoff atmosphere to get enough wins to advance. So, yeah, Knicks in 5.
Let's go.
They'll take care of business.
Let's go, baby.
Juice Bar, MSG Network. If you want the realness, the straight takes, come hang out with us. We go through everything from narratives to actual gameplay to breaking down numbers in the betting market. Alex Monaco, Sean Little, come hang out with us. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can get the Juice Bar.